Glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baharaka Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who will and teach well, to the Akims on the highways and byways and those pushing videos in truth, sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, sorry for any background noise because I'm actually outside at the moment. But this article here, I was watching a lesson from the Elder Jim Esfed the Most High 7 on I'll show it actually. This is the lesson there. Slack. It's a digital ID global rollout. Now, one that he did previously was Uganda as well. This thing is global. But I also did a lesson showing you that in Iran they're also rolling out the digital ID, the RFID chip. For those who need to buy food, they can get it at a cheaper rate. So little by little, they're putting this thing in place. Now this article, I typed in digital ID, and this article came up. Now I hadn't known about this. This article is March the 14th, 2022. It says UK announces initial steps for national digital identities. And a lot of these things are done under the cover. And it's only if you're being diligent, you get to know about some of these things. So it says the UK is moving closer to a digital ID scheme with plans for new legislation. Now hear this. It says following a public consultation. I never heard nothing about this. So it says following a public consultation, the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, DCMS, is promising to make digital identities as secure as official documents such as passport and driving license. It says the new digital ID will allow people to prove who they are for everything from moving home or starting a new job to showing they're over 18 to buy a drink. It will be available via phone app or website and can be used in person or online. So what they want to make it now is that you can use it for anything. Mention some of these things here, and they always start off with these things trying to make it sound like makes life easier for you. It's an easier option, less hassle. Like for instance, we have a system over here called congestion charge zone, where there's a certain area in London. If you drive into that zone, you're charged a certain amount of money each day you drive into that zone. Now when it came out, it was like, it's only £2.50. Several years later, when it increased, it went up by 100% to £5. Now to drive into that zone is now £12.50. And their argument on this is that it's to help keep down air pollution. So they always start off these things making it sound like, it's for your good, it's a good thing. And then before you know it, now when everyone's bought into it, this is when they start to change the rules of the game. It says importantly, there will be no requirement to have one. With citizens able to use physical documents if they prefer. And obviously straight away they're not going to tell you need to use your physical documents. They'll let you use the two, and then after a while they'll start to reduce back on the physical documents. For instance, over here I used to have a paper driving license. Now it's on a card. If you haven't moved home, I think you can still use your paper document, but if you need to apply to the DVLA, driver's license vehicle authority, for anything, then that's when they hit you down. You need to move on to the new system, the photo ID digital card. So they'll tell you that you can use physical documents, but then there will come a time when they say, well, the physical documents, someone could steal them, something just to get you over onto their digital system. It says the legislation we're proposing will ensure that there are trusted and secure ways for people and organizations to use digital identities should they choose, says Data Minister Julia Lopez. And even now over here on the system, Slovakia, on the bus and the underground system, you can't use cash anymore. You need an Oyster card. Like they've eradicated using cash on the buses. You can use an Oyster card or use your chip and pin bank card. Which me myself, I ain't got a chip and pin bank card. I told the bank I don't want a chip and pin bank card. It says the first step is the creation of an interim government body for digital identities to be known as the Office for Digital Identities and Attributes, the ODIA. So they're looking to have a central system that governs all of this. The ODIA or ODIA will certify a number of digital identity organizations with a trust mark, saying this will ensure that they adhere to the highest standards of security and privacy. So it's trying to make it sound good, the stuff will be secure, and all of this is to suck you in. Once you're sucked in now, and enough people, because they don't need everyone, they just need enough people to be on this, then they can force it upon everyone else. And to do this, says the government, it will bring forward legislation when parliamentary time allows to establish this certification process and trust mark. It says it will also create a legal gateway to allow trusted organizations to carry out verification checks against official data held by public bodies. Sue Daly, Director for Technology and Innovation at Technology Trade Association Tech UK, says she welcomes the announcement. Given the next steps now being taken, continued cooperation between industry and government remains the best chance for successful implementation of a digital identity ecosystem in the UK, she says. Zakia says, however, we must also ensure we bring citizens on this journey with us. Building trust and confidence in digital identity must be a key priority as we move forward, and they do that by making you feel comfortable, saying it's secure, little things like, you can still use your physical stuff like your paperwork, but once everyone's latched onto this, or majority, that's when they'll get rid of the paperwork. It says identity was not fundamentally built into the internet, which has resulted in companies building singular relationships with each of us. The development of these separate accounts, each stored in central database, owned by different companies, has led to an increased risk of security and privacy breaches, she writes. Simply digitizing a business process or physical ID doesn't reduce these risks. We need an identity system that brings our identity together, owned by the individual, and makes digital identities portable in a way that is trusted and secure. And one of the best ways to make them portable is when you have that chip in your hand, that mark in your hand. And the government has, it must be said, a poor record when it comes to implementing digital identity system. Introduced in 2011, its verified project was intended to simplify the process of accessing different government departments. However, while 25 million people were expected to sign up by 2020, well under a quarter actually did so. While the service was due to be wound down by March 2020, pressures caused by the COVID pandemic meant it was extended for a further 3 years. Yeah, so, good old Mr. Bovid, helped extend this by a further 3 years, and it's all the Lord's doing at the end of the day. Now, what does scriptures have to say about these things? Like I was saying, Uganda, as you can see from the elders video, Iran, over in Sweden, they're just totally gone. Like, they're into this chip in their hand, like it's going out of fashion. Yeah, but it's little by little, countries are coming into place, and I wouldn't be surprised. What's that country that went bust the other day? Is it Sri Lanka? One of those countries that went bust. I wouldn't be surprised if they implement it over there. But this is Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 15. and verse 12. Yeah, because these things are played out in the scriptures. It says, I will set, how the hell do I get to Habakkuk? It's like Deuteronomy 15 and 12 it says, and if thy brother, Hebrew man or Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress. Of that wherewith the Lord thy power has blessed thee, thou shalt give him. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And here we go. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee. So when we take these things now, this chip, the mark, the Motb, this is what we're actually telling the Most High. You know what? We don't really want to trust in you. We want to trust in our oppressor. You know, we actually love him. You know, it says, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee. So instead of putting our trust in the Most High, because the Most High told us, don't take this thing. You know, even if it means your life depends on it, you're gonna die. Put your trust in me. But when we take this mark now, we're showing the Most High, well, I don't really trust in you. You know, Esau is the one that I trust. Esau is the one that I love. It says, then thou shalt take an awl. The awl today, if you look at how they give you the RFID chip through this needle type thing, that is the modern day awl. Yeah, that's what is used. And instead of you boring your ears to the hole, to the door, as we'll read here, it says, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust his ear onto the door. Now you're using the awl to put that mark into your hand, and in some cases into your forehead. It says, and then verse 17, Deuteronomy 15:17, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear onto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. This is what you're doing when you take the mark. You're making the Most High know that, look, I don't want you ruling over me. I want Esau ruling over me. He's the one I want to serve forever. And this is why the Most High is going to destroy those who take it, because you're no good to him then. If you don't want to serve me, you know, the power of powers, you know, you want to serve mere man, then you know what, you can be destroyed with mere man. Deuteronomy 15:17, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever, and also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. So look at this word all. And thou shalt take an awl. I don't think it will play that you can hear. Is it Marcy? Something like that. Motb, which is H4836. All boring instrument. So, you know, you can give yourself a little challenge. You know, go online and look at how the RFID chip is inserted into your hand. They're using a boring instrument. It's like a needle. Look, a rice grain size RFID chip inserted into your hand using a boring instrument. You know, this is Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great. So this is what I'm saying. Little by little, they bring these things in till it comes to the point where there's so much taking it, so much people taking it, they can now force it upon everyone. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, yeah, which would be the Motb, which is the RFID chip. You know, there's numerous things online now, and this is why you have to give credit to the elders and the apostles of GMS. Why? Because they were the one that was bringing this out. Now, it may have sounded strange at the time when they were bringing it out, but what? And this is why. Oops, slack. This is why I like the elder of GMS Fear the Most High 7, because he not just tells you, oh, the Motb is an RFID chip and end of story. He's showing you with things that they're bringing out over the years how this thing is coming into play. Yeah? So you can, because yes, everything starts off in the spiritual. Yeah, you have brothers that don't believe it's the Motb. They'll bring out their precepts showing you the spiritual side of things. But how does that play out in reality? And you can see they're bringing in things now, showing you how this plays out in reality. And it says, and he calleth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, Slakia, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save either at the mark. So it's going to come to a point where everyone would have to take this, apart from those elite who's putting this thing in play. Yeah. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. If you don't want to take this wisdom when we're telling you the Motb is an RFID chip, then it's down to you. At the end of the day, we're just here to warn. We're not here to force our beliefs on no one. We're here to warn you according to what the scripture says. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. And what is that? That is a watchman. When you read Ezekiel 3:17, it says, Son of man, I have set thee I set thee as a watchman over the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. Yeah. So we are standing on our watch and we're warning the people of what's to come. It says, and we'll watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. Now, this is what John the Revelator did. He wrote the vision, and it's been made plain upon tables. How? Through the elders and apostles that's breaking this down, showing you how this thing is coming in. And as the scripture says, there's nothing new under the sun. Deuteronomy 15, it's also in Exodus, showing you that this is something that had happened before under a similar means with the oil. It says, Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, which is what we're doing, that ye may run that readeth it. Yeah, that you may make haste to do what? To repent, to come back to the Lord. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Yeah, so I can't tell you, well, they're going to implement it fully on everybody 2026, March the 3rd. I don't know that. But what I can show you is that through little things which is happening throughout various countries, you can see that it's being implemented and the foundations are being set. Yeah. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Yeah, so what we're telling you now, there's going to come a time, as the scripture says, and they shall know, I think it's Ezekiel 33, and they shall know, let me quickly see. Give me a second. Slack here. And like I said, sorry for the background noise because I'm outside. Yeah, and when this thing come to pass, yeah, when the Motb come to pass, everyone, they're telling you, yeah, you have to get this RFID chip, otherwise, you won't be able to buy or sell. And like read in the article, they want to make it for everything. If you're moving home, so on and so forth. And when this thing come to pass, lo, it will come. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Why? Because the Most High has said it, so it has to happen. Then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Yeah, that's when you're gonna realize, right, them brothers talking madness, according to you, they were actually speaking the truth. So Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Because these words ain't going to leave the Most High's mouth void. It says, though it tarry, though it may seem to be taking a while, wait for it. And in that waiting, that's when you're meant to be getting yourself right. You're meant to be repenting. Because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Yeah? It will not wait. Behold, yeah, and that's the point. It will not wait. So, it's something I wanted to bring out. I saw this, like I said, I was watching the lesson from the elder, and this was brought out. So, what's happened there? Yeah, so let me go back to that bit. Slovakia, that bit I was reading. Hold on. Let's see if I can find that bit again. So it says, yeah, the new digital ID will allow people to prove who they are for everything, from moving home or starting a new job to showing they're over 18 to buy a drink. Yeah, and that's the Motb they're looking to put in place. But something I want to touch on, showing you that they're laying the foundations, and even undercover they're putting things in place for this to happen. But hopefully this was edifying. With that, I'm going to close out. I'm going to give all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Waharaka Kadash, Kwame Sha'Allah.